They said Microsoft won. Let's see what they won, because I'm curious too.
If history's taught us one thing, it's that
I heard
gamers
there
are
was
the
a
pride
PlayStation
and
lawsuit.
joy of the
I'm
human
probably going to
race.
enter that, get
I
some money
feel
back,
like the
because
only
I'm broke.
reason the Lord ever even made humans
I
to
don't know if
begin
it's true
with
though, or
was
where
so
to
that
go.
we would eventually evolve to a point where we can finally reach our ultimate metamorphosis and become the turbo gamers we were destined to be. And my friends, it's with a smile on my face and butterflies in my tummy that I proudly announce that we are entering the golden age of gaming. We have arrived. Gamers can't stop winning. We eat good, fuck good, feel good, and when someone stands in our way, we say, "Listen, Buster, you noob, get out of town or I'm gonna have to level up on your ass." And that's exactly what just happened in court, basically, with the FTC. The FTC got the latest smackdown from gamers when they tried to block Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard. Those fools at the FTC, those bumbling, imbecile, homunculus morons, thought that they could walk all over our God-given right to game. Hard. And now, they're learning a tough lesson. Don't tussle with the virtual muscle, or you're gonna end up looking silly.
I'm still
The
trying to find out what's
cyberspace
going
is a
on.
circus, and now you're the clowns. Now, for those of you who have no fucking idea what I'm talking about, I'll
Yeah.
briefly explain. Microsoft made an offer to buy Activision Blizzard for $69 billion.
I did hear
An
about
offer
this.
Activision Blizzard couldn't resist. Like Mr. Krabs with the dollar signs in their eyes, they were pretty on board with the idea, so they began moving forward with the conversations because $69 billion, that's a lot of
Yeah.
doubloons. That's enough clams to make you slap your own mother. So they were going forward, going through with the process, but encountered quite a few obstacles along the way, the biggest one being the Federal Trade Commission blocking the acquisition. They were arguing that if Microsoft was to acquire all of the properties under Activision Blizzard, they would then have the means and motivation to harm competition and be very anti-competitive because they could basically like take something like Call of Duty exclusive to Xbox. This was a big talking point, actually,
Yeah.
Call of Duty in particular, but Activision Blizzard has major heavy hitters in the video game space, and they
That's
were
true.
arguing that under Microsoft's control, they wouldn't really have incentive to release a quality product on rival consoles like Sony's PlayStation. So they were a bit concerned about, this being anti-competitive and maybe potentially even
I could kind of see it both ways, where they're like, why would we take it off? Because we would make so much money. We would make a lot more money if we didn't take it off. But then I could also see we want more people to buy our consoles over PlayStation. So why wouldn't we take it off PlayStation, right? I could see both sides.
forming a monopoly down the line, so
By
they
the way, on
motioned to
PlayStation.
block this acquisition. And this has been an ongoing battle for the last few months, and Microsoft's been making a lot of arguments about why it'd actually be the contrary. Should Microsoft get Activision Blizzard, they would actually enable more access to the properties, taking Call of Duty to a platform like even the Nintendo Switch. For all 6 people that would be delusional enough to buy a Call of Duty game on the Switch, because that'd be running at like 5 FPS. That fucking console can barely even handle mobile games. But they're
Bro, I've been wondering when the Switch is gonna get an upgrade, because that shit been out for a long time, bro. Like, I think since like PS4, right? And that's like start PS4. I don't know.
would be
But
more
they need-
access to it, according
They
to
need a new
Microsoft.
console.
And
Just
before
wondering
the
when they're
Switch
gonna do it.
gamers start fucking steaming out of their ears and slapping on the keyboard, I like the Switch. It's just a really embarrassing joke of hardware that can't really handle third-party modern games super well. Like Apex Legends on the Switch had to be the biggest joke the video game industry ever tried to pull.
Bruh.
Nintendo Switch is good for just basically their first-party exclusives. So it is cool if Call of Duty does go to the Switch like this. Like, I mean, that's great. More access is always a good thing. But that would be like the worst way of playing this game, I imagine. Unless they release like the Switch 2.0. But regardless, Microsoft was arguing that if they do get Activision Blizzard, this would only actually help give people more means of playing these games on consoles. They wouldn't take anything away from rival consoles. And they've been making these arguments for quite a while now. And it seems to have worked because today, the judge ruled in favor of Microsoft.
As long as when they sign a deal, they put it in contract so it's in writing, and that they can't take it off any other consoles moving forward, and it always has to be in consoles both consoles or more consoles, and
So
then,
they
yeah, why
chose
not?
all of the correct dialogue options in order to get the Microsoft good true ending, I suppose.
And there's no
According to the
like
judge in this case,
cheat
they
codes or
stated
whatever,
that
or
this
I say
court's
cheat, but
responsibility in this case
bypasses.
is narrow. It is to decide if, notwithstanding these current circumstances, the merger should be halted, perhaps even terminated, pending the resolution of the FTC administrative action. For the reasons explained, the court finds the FTC has not shown a likelihood that it will prevail on its claims this particular vertical merger in the specific industry may substantially lessen competition. To the contrary, the record evidence points to more consumer access to Call of Duty and other Activision content. The motion for a preliminary injunction is therefore denied. Fucking caps lock denied there. That's like some shit out of League of Legends. Judge was getting a bit toxic there, fucking locking that one down in caps. So the judge gave the thumbs down in the Coliseum here to the Federal Trade Commission's block on this Activision Blizzard play from Microsoft. They even just wiped their ass with an analysis from a Harvard economics professor who was arguing that they would have financial incentive to make Call of Duty an Xbox exclusive. And they said that this failed to take into account plans for the franchise to remain on PC, come to Switch, and be accessible through cloud gaming. Before the merger, a consumer wanting to play a Call of Duty console game had to buy a PlayStation or an Xbox. After the merger, consumers can utilize the cloud to play on the device of choice, including, it is intended, on the Nintendo Switch. Perhaps bad for Sony, but good for Call of Duty gamers and future gamers. I think they're actually right on the money with this one here. Before all of this hoopla here, if you wanted Call of Duty on the console, it was either Xbox or PlayStation. So I do understand the rationale behind it.
I mean, but those are the only two consoles really, and PC. I'm pretty sure you could get caught on PC. Can you? I don't know about that actually, but most of the times, that's what people played it on.
If
I don't know.
the Xbox manufacturer gets a hold of Call of Duty, if they grab the scrotum of Call of Duty, why would they even bother to continue putting it on Sony's PlayStation? You know, that's their competition. Like, I get where the thought process is coming from, but they fail to take into account that Microsoft itself already allows its exclusives to go to rival platforms, the PC. Microsoft itself, there's...
Hi.
Wait, Microsoft and PC are rivals? I thought they were the same thing. Because when I log in, it's like Microsoft is computers. Like, bro, there's a Microsoft store. Like, I always think Microsoft and PC are the same thing. Am I wrong?
It's Will from Booker Law. If you use Steam, the PC game platform,
there's no such thing as a real Xbox exclusive anymore because all of their Xbox exclusives go to PC at the same time, pretty much. So they kind of have already shown that they're okay letting their biggest titles go to other platforms. So I don't see why they'd think that it would be different here if they controlled the IP. Like, they would still benefit from it going to PlayStation, and they'd benefit from allowing even more access, like going to the Switch. And they've already allowed all of their exclusives right now to not be locked down to the Xbox because they already go to PC too. So I do think under Microsoft there is going to be more access to things like Call of Duty. This was a huge talking point in this case because Call of Duty is such a fucking power franchise. And I do think that they're correct that under Microsoft, I don't see it being exclusive to Xbox or anything. It'll probably just be more accessible. Sony, on the other hand, has shown many times in its past that it wants to have its cake and eat it too. It wants to be like your only option. I've already gone over this in previous videos, but there have been times in the past where Sony has legitimately tried to do anti-competitive practices because they have a very strong market share in the video gaming space. And they don't budge on fucking anything, mostly. And I think Sony recognized this, which is why they would be looking out for their own selfish interests to continue to have that stranglehold on the market share. They realize that under Microsoft, Activision Blizzard properties being more accessible hurts their position because now you no longer just have the choice of Xbox and PlayStation. Now Nintendo Switch could enter the conversation, cloud gaming where you could play on other devices as well. So Sony, I
don't
think,
even know about devices,
really
but
only cares about itself, not like the good of the gaming space. So I overall do think it's a good thing here. I'm not exactly a Microsoft fan. I think pretty much every studio they touch turns to shit. And I really think the Xbox has nothing on it at all. It's just kind of a fucking brick. I have not got my Xbox out of this drawer in front of me in over a year and a half. And the only reason I brought it out a year and a half ago was to replay an old Xbox 360 game called Bayonetta. Love Bayonetta, by the way. So there's just, I think the Xbox Series X and all that, is a fucking flop right now. Phil Spencer recognizes that. He even had that statement not long ago about how they've completely lost the video game industry race right now. But I'm still optimistic for the future. Like, with this deal going through, should it go through, again, it's not a done deal. I do think having more access to titles is a good thing. So I'm always for that. Though I'm not super optimistic about the quality of titles coming forward because, like I said, Microsoft has like the fucking cheese touch here. They curse everything under their umbrella in the video game space, and every studio kind of goes tits up. Now, like I said, it's not a done deal. There still is another big block right now, and this one comes from the Competition and Markets Authority. This is in the UK. So the CMA also blocked the deal in April, argued that it would hamper growth in cloud gaming. But it seems like this is starting to weaken a little bit. Like, they're starting to be more open to proposals from Microsoft. So it feels like that's only a matter of time before that's no longer an obstacle for this acquisition. But yeah, anyway, just wanted to give you this update because this is a very big deal in gaming. This is by far the biggest fucking deal like ever done in gaming. Probably just one of like the biggest purchases in general. A $69 billion buy here is fucking massive. And Activision Blizzard has some huge properties, so there is a lot of potential ramifications for the future of gaming. Could be good. I imagine it probably will be good, but it also could be bad. There's really no telling right now. So I just wanted to give you a little update on everything that's been going on here, and yeah, that's about it. See ya.
You're up, team.
I'm not gonna be like I'm a Sony person, but I'm a PlayStation person, so I don't know how the judge needs to remind the FTC that they are supposed to be arguing for the consumers, not the corporations. That is true. It was FTC/Sony versus Microsoft. It's never been the case. Even the first time the FTC went after Microsoft, the consumer lost. Office used to be built into Windows. FTC said that made Windows too good, so they started selling it. Bruh. You see, you probably wondering why I can't read this because I'm pretty far from my monitor and I can't see. But yeah, let me know what you guys think and if you would want the deal to go through. I don't know. Too big a deal for me. I don't know. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. And also, what other consoles are out there? Because I already know there's Xbox, PlayStation, and the Nintendo Switch. And that's the only three really. And then like old generations of those, right? New generations, old generations of those three. But I don't know about any other thing. I think there's like a Google something. I don't know. But yeah, like, subscribe. See you guys later. Hope you have a good day or night, and bye.